You know, when I hear generative AI, I kind of like immediately think of those AI generated pictures everyone's posting online. But what about like everything else? This Google Cloud article, the one you sent over, about choosing the right AI model. It's pretty fascinating. It's like AI isn't just, one thing, right?
Not at all. And yeah, this article really gets into that whole idea. A senior leader over at Google Cloud makes a point of saying right away that, yeah, generative AI is powerful stuff, especially when you're talking about creative tasks and like dealing with unstructured data. But it's not like a magic bullet for every single problem, you know?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, it's like you wouldn't use a microscope to build a house. You need the right tool for the job. So how do we even begin to figure out which AI model is the right tool?
Well, the article uses this car analogy that I have to admit is it's pretty clever. They start with what they call foundation models, and they use Google's own Gemini as an example. They say to think of these foundation models like your versatile SUVs. They're powerful. They can handle a lot of different tasks like content creation or problem solving, whole bunch of stuff.
Okay, so like if I needed an AI to say write me a song and then like analyze the musical trends in it, a foundation model could theoretically do both.
Yeah, it's possible, though it might not be as good at like the specific nuances of musical analysis as a model that's, more specialized.
Right.
And that's where your niche models come in. This is where that car analogy gets even more interesting.
All right. Niche models hit me with it. What kind of car are we talking about now?
We're talking like finely tuned race cars. They're incredibly good at one very specific thing, like domain-specific models, for instance. Those are trained on data for a particular field. So, like, imagine an AI that's been fed, like, every medical journal ever published, or one that's laser-focused on, financial market data.
So you wouldn't use your medical AI to give you stock tips then. Got it. It's all about the right tool for the job. But even within these niche models, there are even more distinctions, right?
Exactly. You've got your domain-specific, like we just talked about, but then you've got what are called task-specific models. Think of these as like your self-driving cars.
Mhm.
They're designed for one very particular task, like let's say translating technical documents from English to Japanese, but like only for medical equipment.
Whoa, okay, that is hyper specific.
It is, but that's the point, right? If you need something that's incredibly precise, you're not going to, train a general AI to do it. You need that super specialized model.
So, just to recap for a second, we've got these really powerful, versatile foundation models, our SUVs, and then we've got these more specialized niche models, which are our race cars, and those are divided even further into domain specific and task specific. Okay, got it. But then on top of all of that, there's the question of open source versus proprietary. Did this article did it touch on that at all?
It did. And I really like how they framed it, actually. So they said that open source is like basically like tweaking and customizing a car yourself. You have like maximum control, but it requires a lot of expertise.
Okay, so we've got our AI model cheat sheet ready, foundation versus niche, open versus proprietary. But how do you actually decide? Like, how do you actually make the decision? It's like, I don't know, standing in front of a vending machine with a zillion buttons. Where do you even start?
Yeah, yeah, no, I get it. And that's where this article, I think it really
Hmm.
shines. They give you five key decision points to think about. Almost like
Yeah.
it's almost like a roadmap to help you navigate that crazy vending machine you were talking about.
Mhm.
And the first one they talk about is governance.
Governance. Okay, so
Mm.
like thinking beyond just what the AI can do, we need to think about like if it's even allowed to do it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's about understanding, like the rules of the road, right? And the article specifically mentions like healthcare, finance, government, those fields where data privacy and security are like really, really important. You might need a model that has very specific certifications or one that offers like a lot more transparency. Um, that's where open source sometimes can be, it can be a better option.
So depending on your industry, your choices might already be limited right off the bat. Interesting. Okay. Decision point number two. The article it calls this the use case. What does that even mean exactly?
So use case, it's all about just being crystal clear on what you're actually trying to do with this AI. Like what kind of output are you looking for? What tasks will it be doing? The article really emphasizes this step a lot. Like this is a big one.
It's like before you even walk into the car dealership, you need to know, am I looking for a minivan? Or am I looking for like, a sports car?
I like that analogy. That's a good one. And just like, Just like you take a car for a test drive before you buy it, the article talks about how it's important to like use these AI evaluation tools at this stage. You can actually try out, different models with your specific needs in mind and see how they perform.
Ah, okay. So you can take it for a spin, so to speak. So once you've taken it for a spin, then it's on to, let's see, that was decision point number 2. So decision point number 3 is performance.
Right, right. And this is where you have to kind of prioritize a little bit. Is speed the most important factor for you? Are you working with a really tight budget? Or are you looking for something that's like super customizable, even if that means, you got to sacrifice a little bit of speed?
Like choosing between a speedy sports car or like a really economical sedan or even like a ragged truck that can go anywhere.
There you go. Exactly. And just like with cars, there are definitely trade-offs in the AI world as well. So like a smaller, simpler model that might be faster and it might also be, cheaper to run, but it's not going to be as customizable as a larger, more complex model.
It's all about finding that balance. Okay, what about like the data itself? That seems like it's got to be a pretty crucial part of this whole thing. That's decision point number 4, right?
It absolutely is. The article is very, very clear about this. Those larger, more complex models we were talking about, those things are like data hungry. You need a ton of information if you want to train them effectively.
So if you only have like a small amount of data to work with, then a smaller, less complex model is like actually the smarter choice.
It really could be. Yeah. The article mentions this problem called overfitting. And that's basically when a model, it learns the training data too well.
Too well. Wait, how do you learn something too well?
It's like, imagine trying to teach a self-driving car to navigate, but only based on, the roads in your neighborhood, right? It might know your block perfectly, but you take it anywhere else and it'll be totally lost.
Ooh, yeah, that's not a good situation to be in. Okay, so the data, it's not just about having it, it's about having the right amount of it. Got it. Which brings us to the final decision point, which is skills and resources. This feels like a big one.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because even if you manage to pick the absolute perfect AI model for your needs, you still need the right people and you need the right tools to actually make it work. You can't just pop in a cassette tape and press play.
So it's not enough to like just have, I don't know, one tech whiz on staff. You need a whole team for this.
It's definitely a team effort for sure.
Yeah.
The article mentions, data scientists, software engineers, but also people who understand your specific subject matter really well too. Because at the end of the day, the AI is only going to be as good as the information that it's given, right?
Right. If you're in like a super specialized field like, medicine or finance, you really need that expert knowledge there to help guide the AI. It really drives home the point that, choosing the right AI, it's not just like clicking a few buttons, it's a whole thing.
Go for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a process. And this article from Google Cloud, I think they do a great job of really highlighting how like interconnected these 5 decisions actually are. The governance, the use case, performance, data, skills, and resources.
Yeah.
It's not like a checklist that you can just, go down one by one.
Yeah. They all kind of play off each other, right? Like maybe I don't know, maybe how much you need the speed, maybe that like limits what you can do with customization, or maybe it's like the data that you have, like the amount of data you have that dictates which model you can even, consider using in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah. It's more like a puzzle where all the pieces, they got to fit together just right.
Yeah.
And here's where the article, it kind of threw me for a loop. After, this whole deep dive on how to choose the right model, they end on this like almost philosophical question. Why?
Why?
Yeah. Like, why are we even using AI at all in this situation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Like, okay. Yeah.
It's like they're saying, hold on a second. Before you go and, build your AI dream team, like, take a step back for a second. Like, is AI even the right tool for this job? Is generative AI even the right type of AI? Or are you just, trying to fit a square peg into a round hole?
That's such a good point. It's so easy to get like caught up in all the like the excitement of this like, new tech and everything. I'm thinking about this one time I bought this like fancy bread maker because I was like, oh, fresh bread every day. Amazing. Sign me up,
Yeah. And what happened?
It turns out I hate kneading dough. Like I really hate kneading dough. So I use the bread maker like twice, and it's been sitting in my pantry like gathering dust ever since. And I should have just like bought the bread from the bakery down the street, The point is like sometimes the simplest solution, it really is the best one, even if it's not, the flashiest.
That's a great point. And I think this article it really emphasizes that even in like, this whole age of AI and everything, human judgment is still like it's still so key to all of this. We need to be thoughtful about, how and when we actually use these like incredibly powerful tools.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. Well, this deep dive it's been really eye-opening, I think. We went from like 0 to 60 on generative AI models. We talked about all the different types, the decisions that you need to consider, and I think most importantly that, that crucial why behind all of it.
And remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This AI world, it's constantly evolving. So, stay curious, keep exploring. Who knows what
Yeah.
we're going to see in the future?
Exactly, exactly. So, on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Until next time, keep sending us those AI questions.